welcome to Around the Well, the official podcast of the town of Wellington. I am Jerry Martin, your host and the communications specialist for the town of Wellington. Thank you for supporting this third episode of Around the Well as we aspire to create a space for the discussion of issues that impact our town and our community here in Wellington. Episode 3 highlights Wellington's 4th of July community celebration, which is the town's largest event and one that draws thousands of people to downtown Wellington. We will start things off with a conversation featuring the town's events coordinator and the president and founder of local vintage-inspired club, the Rockabilly Vixens. We are joined for this episode by Caitlin Morris, who is the Town of Wellington's Main Street and Events Coordinator, and Rockabilly Vixens President and Founder, Bowtie Bettie. Thank you both for being here today. We will get to the details of Wellington's 4th of July celebration in a minute, but before that, as we do with all of our wonderful guests here on Around the Well, we want to find out a little more about both of you. We'll start with you, Caitlin. How did you find your way to the town of Wellington, and how long have you been working for the town?
Yeah, thanks, Jerry. So I moved to Wellington about 10 years ago in 2015, and at the time I was working for the Bohemian Foundation in the music programs department and became acquainted with the Wellington Main Street program and just started paying attention to Wellington and learning more about the community and things that were happening here, and just really took a liking to the work that was going on and the potential for growth and maintaining kind of that small community feel. And so at the end of 2022, I joined the Main Street Program Board. And then shortly after, the town posted the position that I'm currently in. And I remember reading the job description and just thinking, I feel like this is written for me. I feel like I might be able to offer something here. And so I ended up applying, and the rest is kind of history. I've now been in my role for a little over 2 years and absolutely love it.
And what are the things that you're passionate about personally that align with your job here with the town?
Yeah. Well, I was raised in a small rural community, so I feel like Wellington reminds me of home, and it reminds me of my upbringing and the way that I want to raise my own family and my own children. And I think we really do have the potential to increase connection and community through that, and that's really what I'm mostly passionate about, is bringing people together, around the good things and the hard things that we need to accomplish together here.
And what is your favorite part about Wellington?
I think my favorite part about Wellington really is the potential for what we can grow into together, and that the people here really love to help each other out. It's just awesome to see our businesses and residents rolling up their sleeves and getting stuff done together. I think there's a strong sense of collaboration and helping each other through it.
Thank you very much, Caitlin. And Bettie, anyone who has been to a Wellington town event has probably seen the Rockabilly Vixens out doing their thing. Can you tell us a little bit about the background of the group and what your mission is?
Yes, thank you. So the Rockabilly Vixens have definitely been out. We are all over northern Colorado. I started the club 3 years ago with the intention of finding like-minded women that wanted to get out into the community to do positive outreach. It literally takes a minute to impact somebody else's life or to make somebody smile. So finding other people that had that same kind of thought process was what I was doing, and now we have grown to 13 women, and we stretch all over Colorado. We go all the way down into Denver. We do events all the way into Pueblo. We kind of are spread everywhere, doing everything that we can to impact the community.
So even at just a glance, it's not hard to see the dedication and commitment that the Rockabilly Vixens have to the communities of northern Colorado. Why is the community aspect so important to the group, and what do you do to forge such strong connections in those communities?
So each one of the women are part of the northern Colorado communities. We have women that are spread all over, but each one of them have a heart and a passion and a drive to make sure that the people around them smile, are happy, and can see a difference. So part of it is their heart is in it and their location. Granted, they would do it anywhere they are, but it's that direct Northern Colorado needs us and Northern Colorado needs to smile. So every single one of us are out there with that simple thought in mind.
And I alluded to this before, but the Rockabilly Vixens have done community outreach here in Wellington during some of our past events. As a group, what have those experiences here been like?
Well, the one thing with Wellington, it is that small community. So when we get to do events here, we actually get to interact with each person that's actually going to get to benefit from these things. So every little interaction matters because those are the people that actually get to see what we do and they appreciate us. So they're the ones we want to make smile.
Very cool. And what is your favorite part about the town?
Well, I actually have grown up around here, and my husband his family has been here since the very beginning of Wellington, one of the original farms. So being able to see the 4th of July parade so many years and getting to see my husband's grandpa in it and now getting to be a part of it, that specific event is something even my children know. So it didn't matter if we moved into Fort Collins, Windsor, wherever over Northern Colorado, always Wellington for 4th of July. So
Very cool. Thank you both for letting us get to know you a little bit better. Now we can shift our focus to Wellington's July 4th community celebration. Betty will stay with you. Speaking of community connection, the Rockabilly Vixens have taken on an important new role for this year's event as the hosts of the 4th of July car show, which is moving back downtown after a couple years up north. What are the details of this year's show?
So everybody can register. We do have a link that is live. I will say that it is filling in fast. We are accepting motorcycles too and bikes. So anybody wanting to get their beautiful shiny babies out, we are all about it. And I will not be exclusive. I do like those dirties too. We want your hot rods. We want all that good stuff. But it will be so with registration. If you are going to be in the show, we are going to have a window, and you do get this info, but you will have a window for setup. But the actual event and judging, and when we want spectators going around looking at everything, that's going to be from 11 to 3.
Okay.
We will be doing awards around 1 p.m. Okay. It's not going to be perfectly on the dot, sure, but we will have a window that's going to be along with a pinup event that we're doing. So we will have the kiddos, the greasers, the little pinups, the big pinups. We want everybody out. So that'll be happening around the same time. But the car show specifically, we will be judging and voting. So we want everybody to get anything out. And again, that registration link is live, and we do have the option if we need a form or to do it in person, because I know some people do prefer that.
Sure. I mean, is there a deadline for registration, or is it just until it fills up?
Nope, it is just until it fills up. I did open a few more spaces because I did not realize how great Wellington would show up, but I know moving it back to the heart and the park right here, everybody's loving that. So I think we're going to have a really good show up, but so I will say it'll probably close out before any deadline.
Sure. Okay. That's great. And we talked a little bit about the car show moving to Centennial Park this year, the Centennial Park area. It's taking place there as part of a special 4th of July Main Street Market. And we'll talk about that new addition to the July 4th celebration here in a moment. First, though, the Rockabilly Vixens are, like you mentioned, hosting a special contest during that period where you're going to be announcing the winners. Can you tell us a little bit more about that contest?
Yes. So we would love everybody to come out that would like to enter. It will be a pinup and a greasers contest. So that includes the guys and the gals. We want everybody out. But the theme of this one will be to bring your heart back to the heart of Wellington. So it's not just 4th of July and it's not just patriotic. Of course, we definitely want to see that. We will be giving out prizes, awards, crowns. So we want to see you guys show how much you love Wellington and just your ode to it. So that's going to occur in that same window when we're doing the awards. We would ask that anybody that wants to enter be to the park and be to the Rockabilly Vixens tent for check-in and registration by noon so that we can make sure we have everybody there, because we will do it pretty fast. But again, there are awards and crowns. So get your bow ties, your skirts, get your nice suits, your ties, all of it out because we would love to see everyone.
Great. And so it's just day of registration for everybody?
Day of registration. It's if you show up, you so choose you want to do it that morning. We figured it would be a lot easier that way because we know some of the kiddos are going to see the ladies dressed up at the parade and they're probably going to want to enter. So you don't have to come perfect in all your big glory, but show up with your heart.
Great. Thank you very much, Betty. And just as a reminder to listeners, all the links discussed here will be listed in the notes for this episode, and that includes the link for the car show registration. Caitlin, before we get to what's different about this year's celebration, let's start at the beginning of the day with something that's pretty familiar. That would be our 4th of July parade. What should people know about this year's parade?
Yeah, so the parade is going to start at 10 a.m. So Cleveland Avenue will actually close at 8 a.m. So definitely plan ahead on your route and finding parking and finding your spot along Cleveland to watch the parade. But this year's theme for the whole event, but definitely for the parade and inspiration for the floats and everything, is honoring Wellington's heritage. So we wanted to have an homage to Wellington's history and sort of commemorate this year being the last year that the parade will go down Cleveland looking the way that it currently does. So if folks who are listening haven't heard yet, Cleveland will be undergoing a pretty massive transformation starting later this year, early next year. So CDOT is helping us complete a big construction project that will completely transform the streetscape and just improve parking and accessibility and the look and feel. So the parade this year is really celebrating, all these years that Cleveland has served us the way that it looks right now and kind of commemorating this moment of it being the last year looking the way that it does.
Great. And then after the parade, that's when things are going to start to look a little bit different this year as compared to years in the past. In the past, the town celebration has mostly moved up north to Wellington Community Park. This year, though, where much of that celebration is going to remain downtown, with some offerings staying at the park up north. First, can you talk a little bit about why the decision was made to keep more of the celebration downtown this year?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, the past couple years that I've been in my role, I've been trying to just check in with the community, after the last couple of 4th of Julys for feedback and, kind of what the community wants to see from the event. And the consistent feedback has been we really loved it when more activities were downtown. There's a lot of fond memories of when the car show was downtown and the vendor booths and music and just really centralizing everything around the heart of our community. And so after last year, we knew we needed to figure out how to do that. And so we started having really intentional conversations around what that could look like. And with my role with the Wellington Main Street program, we also produce a farmer's market on Friday evenings this year. And so it just so happened that one of those dates was coinciding with the 4th of July. And we thought, well, this probably makes a lot of sense to partner and, really leverage the vendors that we're already working with and do kind of a special 4th of July market this year. And so, that gave way to kind of the partnership with the Rockabilly Vixens and just pulling in the supports needed to really create something special downtown and keep people downtown, largely to help support our Main Street businesses in anticipation of this construction project. And just not knowing what the impact of that will be on their businesses. We know it's going to be tough and we're going to have to really get through it. So with the 4th of July and every event that we're doing this year, we're really trying to have a, support local kind of focus around the event. So another different thing this year is after the parade is over, Cleveland will remain closed for a few more hours. And we really encourage people to just hang out on the street, go and shop our businesses, do some line dancing, listen to the music, and just, kind of have a free-flowing area where people can go between the Main Street businesses and the Main Street market and just really enjoy being downtown.
Great. So you talked a little bit about the market and the street staying open. What else can people expect? You mentioned music for a second. What else can people expect to find downtown after the parade is over?
Yeah, so to touch on the music just briefly, we did get a generous grant from the Bohemian Foundation to support our two bands and a stage in Centennial Park. So I definitely encourage people to check out the bands. We have the Patty Fiasco and the Rusty 44, both of which are very well known in the area and fantastic bands. We'll have a ton of different vendors providing different activities and, interactive things to get involved with. And then to continue to celebrate the history of Wellington, we want to shine a light on the historic tour that the Main Street program has developed. And so, we really welcome people to download our mobile app. It's called Locable, and there's a guided historic tour on there. But we'll also have printed copies of the tour that people can pick up from the Main Street program tent during the event as well.
You can also find a link to it on the 4th of July page on the town's website as well. And just for kind of scheduling purposes, the two bands will play, and then in between the bands is when the car show awards and the pinup and greaser contest is going to happen. So
Yes.
we have that to look forward to during the afternoon. And what's happening up north at Wellington Community Park?
Yeah, so we are still doing a big event up north at Wellington Community Park, largely hosted by our Parks and Recreation Department. And they're going to be setting up their inflatables and yard games, and the splash pad will be activated, and the playground up there, of course. And we have invited about 6 or 7 food and drink and dessert trucks will be available. And then an aspect that I'm personally really excited about is we're going to have something called the Boss Battle Bus. So this is a 35-foot city bus that's a mobile arcade. So that'll be free for people to check out. They have games like Pac-Man and, this.
I believe it's a mobile 80s arcade.
Mobile, yes, good clarification. 80s arcade. And then they're also bringing a few additional inflatable games and yard games to provide as well. And lastly, up there, we're also excited to welcome our local partners from the Wellington Fire Protection District, Larimer County Sheriff's Office, and UC Health, who are going to provide an emergency services vehicles display. So that'll be located north of the tennis courts up there. And we'll actually have one of the Lifeline helicopters landing up there and available to check out. And then the fire engines and the Bearcat and maybe a few surprises that we're still waiting to confirm, but still lots of really fun stuff going on up north for the family and kiddos.
Great. And then for the grand finale, like any good 4th of July party, is a fireworks display. As in years past, Wellington Show will take place on the east side of 6th Street across from the Eystone Elementary School campuses. There are, however, some changes this year in terms of where spectators can sit to watch the fireworks. Can you tell us a little bit about the show and where spectators should plan on posting up this year?
Absolutely. Yeah. So we have reserved the Eystone South campus for viewing. So the gates to the playground area will be open, the parking lot will be open. And then we also have the parking lot area of Eystone North. So the big difference is we just don't have the playground area at Eystone North. So that'll be a little bit different for folks, but it'll be a little bit cozier, and we're excited to have the Wellington Community Band come out and perform, and our local Boy Scouts group is going to be out there doing a fundraiser, cooking hot dogs and providing a game for everybody to enjoy. So we welcome people to come out early with your blankets and your chairs and, maybe some snacks, and just hang out and enjoy a wonderful evening together before the best fireworks show in northern Colorado.
Great. Well, I want to thank you both for being here today. Before we go, is there anything about Wellington's 4th of July celebration that we haven't talked about that you think people should know about? Caitlin, start with you.
Actually, yes, Jerry, there is something else that I should have mentioned. So the Wellington Main Street program just recently completed 2 brand new murals downtown. And we'll have the artist for the one mural, so Terry McNerney, who completed the mural at the Wellington Grill, will be out doing kind of a meet and greet and welcoming people to come take photos with his mural. So both of the murals are meant to be photo opportunities. And so we'd love to encourage people to go visit those and take a photo and tag the Main Street program if they'd like to post it on social media, and just really celebrate some of the new things that we're bringing downtown and showing our support for our community and local businesses.
Great, thank you. And Betty, how about you?
I did hear there was a vendor coming out, so definitely make sure you go by that market. She specializes in pinup stuff, pinup clothing, pinup hair pieces, but I hear she may be actually teaching women how to do pinup hair during the event. So swing by the vendors and make sure that you check out all the glorious stuff that they have out there.
Great, thank you both very much.
Yes, thank you,
Yes,
Jerry.
thank you.
July 4th festivities get underway on Cleveland Avenue at 7 a.m. when the filling station hosts a pancake breakfast at 3906 Cleveland Avenue. The town celebration gets underway at 10 a.m. with the 4th of July parade down Cleveland Avenue. The theme of this year's parade is honoring our heritage, and the parade grand marshal is Wellington resident Mark Gabbert. During the parade, artist Terry McNerney will host a meet and greet next to the mural he painted on the Wellington Grill building on the northeast corner of Cleveland Avenue and 2nd Street. After the parade ends at 11 a.m., the special Main Street Market in Centennial Park opens, as does the 4th of July Festival in Wellington Community Park. In addition to vendors and family-friendly games, the Main Street Market features live music from a pair of bands, the Patty Fiasco from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m., and Rusty 44 from 1:30 to 3 p.m. The market, which closes at 3 p.m., also features the Takin' It Back 4th of July car show, which is hosted by the Rockabilly Vixens on Harrison Avenue and 4th Street around Centennial Park. The announcement of show winners, along with a pinup and greaser contest, will take place from 12:30 to 1:30 p.m. on the stage between bands. That contest is also hosted by the Rockabilly Vixens. The 4th of July Festival at Wellington Community Park features inflatables, games, food and drink vendors, Wellington Community Park amenities, the Boss Battle Bus, which is a retro 80s arcade on wheels, and a rescue vehicle exhibit. The festival closes at 2 p.m. Throughout the day, residents are encouraged to take the self-guided Downtown Wellington Historic Tour. A link to the tour is available, along with all the other links discussed here, with the notes for this episode. The fireworks show blasts off at about 9:30 p.m. on the east side of 6th Street, across from the Eystone Elementary School campuses. Before the show, the Wellington Community Band will play a free concert from the Eystone South parking lot at 7:30 p.m. as spectators gather. From 5 to 9 p.m., Boy Scout Troop 94 is hosting a fundraiser in the viewing area. Scouts will be selling food as well as a pay-to-see attraction to benefit the troop. Fireworks spectators can park in both the Eystone North and South parking lots, but only the Eystone South field is available to view the show. The Eystone North field is not available. Finally, synchronized music is available for the show by tuning in to 97.1 FM at 9:39 p.m. More information about Wellington's 2025 4th of July celebration, including details about road closures, event sponsors, and event volunteering, are available on the event's Facebook page as well as the 4th of July webpage on the town's website at wellingtoncolorado.gov. More information about the Rockabilly Vixens can be found on the group's website at therockabillyvixen.com. www.wixsite.com/mysite. That's all the time we have for this episode of Around the Well. Special thanks to Wellington Main Street and Events Coordinator Caitlin Morris and Rockabilly Vixens President and Founder Bowtie Bettie for joining me to talk about Wellington's 4th of July community celebration. Remember to check the episode notes for links to the resources we talked about, and while you're there, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next episode. Thanks for listening, and we will catch you next time on Around the Well.